Smiles. All right. Oh, shoot. Sorry about that. Let's just turn that off. Well, good morning. My name is Cheryl DiGirolamo. I'm your New England Region President for 2020. And we're continuing with the super project we started called Mastermind Monday Series. Every week from 12 to 12:30, we bring you an outstanding speaker sharing their time, talents, and tips with you. And today we will not disappoint once again. So Kelly and Nora, can you introduce your guest, please, for today?
Hey, Kelly.
Hey, Nora, how are you?
I'm doing great. I'm so excited because I got to meet Jen last December at Lee Brown's Speaker Boot Camp. And I believe you also met her at another one of those speaker boot camps. So I'll have you do the honors.
Absolutely. So I met Jen Teske at a dinner for 12 strangers where we all walked into a restaurant and they're like, oh, your party's over there. And we're like, great, could you introduce us? Yes, we did meet at Lee Brown Speaker Boot Camp, but Jen Teske should be a stranger to none. If you've been to Celebration, you may have seen Jen Teske. I call her Teske the Techie. So Jen Teske is, she's a full-time realtor. She's a transplant from North Carolina to the Midwest. She grew up moving in childhood and then into adulthood. She knows what it's like to be the new kid at school and the new family on the block. She's always striving to hone her real estate skills and her tech and speaking skills by attending industry classes and conferences. Jen's top goal always is to be able to deliver with ease. Jen came into the real estate industry from the tech industry. And Jen, I can't wait to hear what 3 Google apps you can't live without.
All right. Well, I'm ready. I'm going to start off. Thank you, everybody. Thank you for the warm welcome. I love Kelly and Nora, and I definitely feel blessed to have been part of a group where I got to meet these ladies in person, break bread with them, and all that great stuff. So I do live in the Midwest. I am in Edwardsville, Illinois, and I am right outside of St. Louis. A lot of times people hear Illinois and they think Chicago. That's way far away. We don't have anything in common with those people. We like the St. Louis Blues and the St. Louis Cardinals. That's who we cheer for, nothing Chicago. So if you have anyone moving to the St. Louis area and they want to know about our community, feel free to send them my way. I can talk to them about that. So we'll get on with the show, and I am going to share my screen. Hopefully we will have success with this. So let's see, can everybody see it?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to talk about 3 G Suite apps that I can't live without. Now, there's apps and there's extensions. What we're going to talk about today is apps, and I may have a little bonus at the end with a couple of extensions if you're all good students. So let's just dive right in. I'm going to do some swapping back and forth between the PowerPoint presentation, and I'm actually going to show you these apps acting inside of Chrome. Now, here's the thing. If you are not a Chrome user and not a Gmail user, these probably aren't going to be as helpful to you. This is really geared towards people who live in that Google Suite world. My Google account is jenandjean.com. Jean is my business partner. And so when I go to jenandjean.com, or when I go into my G Suite and I'm working under my Jen at Jen and Jean Suite, jenandjean.com, good Lord, it's too many J's. When I go and I work in that world in Google, then I'm able to use these apps and take advantage of them. So we aren't going to get too much into the tech side of that. That's a lot of setting things up in the beginning. There's a lot of great videos out there on how to do that. I encourage you to explore. And like I tell people, people ask me a lot of times, how did you figure this out? How do you do this? I'm not afraid to push buttons. I just push buttons. Unless it's a big red button, I'm pushing it and I'm trying things. So be that way with your tech. Push buttons, try things. There's not too much you can do. Just don't hit delete. Okay, so let's just jump right into the 3 G Suite apps I can't live without. Wise Stamp. This is how you tell people who you are. So I'm going to first go over here to my mail. When I compose an email, see all the goodies there? You guys can see my email right here, right? That I did compose. Okay. So you've got me, I have my little doctored up picture, you know, photoshopped and all that. I have information about myself, all of my credentials, my links to my LinkedIn account, my Instagram, and my Facebook. And then I also have this fun little thing here, set up a Zoom meeting with me. So if somebody wants to set up a Zoom meeting, they can click on that. And then I have one of my most favorite sayings of all time from the great one, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. Every time I compose an email, this comes in there. Now, how did I create that? Well, I did that through a program called YStamp. Now let's first talk about how we get there. I've got to get you guys are on my screen. Let me minimize that. Okay, so when you go out to Google and you are logged in, you see this little waffle here. If you click on that, these are all the apps that you currently have loaded up and available. If you don't have YStamp, you can go out to G Suite, and here's all the apps you can get. Some of these you pay for, some are free. Some of them are very naughty. They were created by people with the intent of getting in and getting to your stuff. So you really want to do your research on apps that you add. If you see that only 2 people have the app, you probably don't want to add it. You go up here, you're going to search for YStamp, and voila, there it is. Now see, I have that installed. If you didn't have it installed, you can click on it and follow the installation process. I won't bore you with that. Here's what YStamp looks. See, this is an app. It is actually its own program, and it's working in my Google Chrome world for me. And I can go in and create my signatures here. And then it has great instructions. YStamp I've been using for probably about 6 or 7 years. Their instructions are fantastic on how to integrate them into your email. So again, don't be afraid to push buttons. Use the help that's provided to you. So that is YStamp. All right, so let's go to Calendly. Calendly, I would say, has changed my life. Many of you guys are probably like all real estate agents, and you really struggle with the time management. You probably make this phone call to your clients. Hi, I understand you want a listing presentation. So when are you available? Do not ever ask when they're available, okay? This is what you say instead. Hi, I understand you're interested in a listing presentation. I am going to send you a link to my calendar, and you'll be able to pick out a time that works best for you and your spouse. Oh, now they think they're in control. And what you do is you set up in Calendly different activities, and you put in there when those activities can be performed. So for instance, let's see if I can find, let's see. We will look for listing appointment. So look in here, I created this listing appointment. When can people book this event? Well, it's going to take 60 minutes. I'm going to block out 60 minutes of time. They can book it anytime within the next 30 days. I can change that if I want. And then here's my availability. Well, I don't want to do listing appointments on Tuesday evening. So I just have from 10 to 4. Wednesday, all right, I'll come to your house at night. I've got until 7. Thursday, that's a night with my family. I'm not going to let you book then. Friday, my husband plays hockey on Friday night, so I'm okay going a little later. Saturday, I don't want to work afternoon. Sunday, a lot of times I do open houses 1 to 3, so I'm available in the morning, and then I'm available in the evening. Now, if you go to advanced, here's the fun part. This is where you can show your availability. So when your client gets this email, it'll show availability in increments of 30 minutes. I don't want to do more than 2 listing presentations a day. That's more people than I want to go visit, more houses than I want to walk through. I require 24 hours notice to do a listing presentation. One of my problems is saying no to people. And what I was having trouble with when I would talk to people to do listing presentations, you know, people get the house already and then they're ready that day for you to come, but they don't call you till that date. They give you no advance notice. They're like, well, we're available today at 4. It's like, okay, I have nothing ready. I haven't done a market analysis. I haven't studied the neighborhood. So I don't let anyone schedule these appointments more than until after 24 hours. Gives me a little bit of room. Then here's the buffers. Our town is kind of small. I can usually get from one end to the other within 15 minutes. So I need 15 minutes ahead of time. And then I want 30 minutes after because, You know, if they're older, sometimes they talk a little longer. Sometimes the young people do too, but anyway. And then here's different things you can do. Invitee questions. I can ask them a question if I want. Notifications and cancellation. If you pay extra money for this app, you can do the free one or you can pay extra money. I pay extra money. I can actually have a text sent to them if they want. All kinds of great things. So this is a very rich app. Some apps are real simple. This one is very, very rich, and there's a lot of great things that you can do with it. But the best thing is you can use it to take control of your schedule. I have final walkthroughs in here. I have buyer consultations in here. I even have, you know how right now in the market, you have those hot properties, and you have that buyer who was looking in that hot property, and they call you up and they're like, oh my God, there's a property that's just on the market. I got to go see it right now. I'm like, okay, let me send you a quick link. I want you to pick your time for the day. And then I send it to them. I'm buffering out the time. I am not going to Pop-Tart out of my office right now and go show you that property. I need about an hour or two. So for my hot properties, I change them up. But I have something for everything and don't even have to think about it. Okay, so that is Calendly. Love that app. Life changer. Okay, so we're going to talk about fun sizing files. You know how at Halloween, you always have the little fun size, which I don't think there's anything fun about a small Snickers bar, but hey, you know, that's what they call them. How many of you have gotten that huge PDF and you're trying to upload it into your DocuSign or your .loop and it's taken forever and you're like, oh, come on, sister, don't you know how to scan a PDF and not let it be 20 megabytes? So you want to get it a little smaller. So there's this great little app called Small PDF. And what you can do is you can drag that monster PDF in there and you can compress it. So you can drop and drag, which I actually prepared for today. So I have a little demo file. This is this was some closing docs it was 20 megs. I hate PDFs that are larger than 8 to 10 megs. It's just a pain. So I can pick that little puppy up, maybe. Come on, little guy. And then I can drag it over to here. It pulls that in. Now, there's different levels of compression. If you pay for this service, which I pay for it because I really, really like it, it can compress it even smaller. But you can use the free service and get a pretty decent amount of compression on it. So all I do is I pick this and then boom, I follow through and it starts compressing it. Now I can download it and I can upload it into .loop or DocuSign or whatever, and I'm not going to have to sit there and wait forever for that to happen. So look at that. It went from 18.9 megs to 7.7 megs. That's pretty good. You can do it with JPEGs, you can do it with Excel files, any of that. This lets you do all kinds of fun stuff. Very, very useful, very, very helpful. And I've used that a lot. So, okay, let me flop back over to here. All right. So those are my 3 apps that if they took them away from me, I don't think I could do this business. Now, extra credit for the ones I love. I'm going to introduce you to 2 extensions. So the difference between an extension and an app is an extension actually extends the functionality of your web browser or your email or your calendar. It is not necessarily its own app. So you know how we went into Calendly? That was an app that had all kinds of functionality in there. There were all kinds of fun things we could do. We were able to open up the app in its own screen. This is a little different. This is an extension. So let me show you how you find extensions first. All right. So from your Google home screen here, you can actually go over to apps and then it's the web store. So then you search in the store. And so I'm going to show you the color picker eyedropper. And I spelled it wrong, but it is picky about finding things. All right, so this little guy, this is actually, you know what? That's the thing, is other extensions will try to knock off other apps. So let's see. I think it is this right here. No, more extensions. Sorry guys, I screwed up when I spelled it wrong the first time. See, everybody tries to knock off the different ones. Let me just see what it says right here on my, this is what it looks like. That's the icon you would look for. I'm just gonna go color and see if we can find it here. It came up just fine earlier. So I'll figure that out and then I will get that information out to you. And I'm just gonna try one more time. See if I put a space. No, I'll find out what I'm doing. I'm typing in something wrong. But anyway, I'm gonna show you how this works. So the way this works is, let me get this little thing to go away. Move my toolbar. Sorry, my toolbar is right in the way. Okay. Let's say here's a picture that I just found on the internet. And let's say I'm like, oh, I really love the color of those walls. Oh, it's color pick, not color picker. Let's just real quick. I want you guys to see this little guy. There it is. That's the one. Lots of people use it. So you would just, mine's actually already added, but if you would have add to Chrome, so you would add it. So let's go back to the picture. So I really like the color of these walls. So I go over here to my color picker and then I click on here and you see how this came up? This is the hex code for that color. So I right mouse click, I copy it. Now I'm over here in Canva and I'm like, I want to do a fun design. I don't know if you guys use Canva or not. I love Canva. And I want that background color. So then I control V or right click and paste and then look at what it found. There it is, the exact color. So you can find any color you like on the internet, figure out what the hex code is, and then use that in things like Canva or any other graphics programs that you're using. That should have been a lot quicker presentation. Sorry about that. Color pick, not color picker. And here is our standing ovation. This is called Hunter. Now this is another extension. I love this because I can find people's email addresses that I normally can't find. So here's an example of one. So I'm a certified divorce real estate expert. And one of the things I do is promote myself to local attorneys and tell about you know, my background and information on how I became a CDRE and all of that. So I want to be able to send the attorneys in our area emails. Now this is a friend of mine, Barb. This is her law office website. If I wanted to reach out to Barb and send her an email, I would say, okay, contact us. Oh, well, look at that. It's one of those fill-in sheets. I don't get Barb's email address, so who knows who's going to get it. So if I go back here and I go up to my little Hunter icon and I click on that, look at what happens. Every email address that ever has been affiliated with this office or this website is on here, and there's my friend Barb. So think about what that could do to your business. If you are targeting a certain niche market and you want to be able to reach out personally to physicians or dentists or attorneys or whatever, and you want to get their email addresses, you can go to their website and use this little tool right here, and voila, you can find their email addresses. Okay, so that is, I'm gonna move this little guy up here. So that is it. Let me get back to my screen here so I can see everyone.
So Jen, we have a couple of questions. So
okay.
Me and Nora are just going to go through the chat
Okay.
and we'll get everybody some answers. So Beverly Pierce would like to know, when you're using small PDF to shrink the files, does it affect the document quality at all?
I have not noticed that it does. I imagine that if you were taking a JPEG and reducing it, and then you took that reduced file and you wanted to create a big canvas with a picture, I would imagine it would probably have some effect on it. But for the documents, I have noticed no degradation in the quality of the document so far. And I've been using it several years. I've used it for a while. We've got some people here who really struggle with scanning. And so, or you know how sometimes you have a client and you send them documents and you say, hey, send me this signed, and then they take a picture of it and they send you a high def picture that's 12 megs.
Yeah.
And you need to get that shrunk down. You can use it for that.
Sure. Nora?
Yes. Well, I had a question about Y-Stamp. Can you get Y-Stamp? So I have it, but I don't have it really through Chrome and whatnot, but separately. And do you have the ability to put that on your phone?
You know, I have not tried that. I think mine is set up to integrate with my email address.
Mm-hmm.
And so anytime I send stuff from my phone, I believe that it just automatically puts it in there because it's associated with my Jen at jenandjean.com.
Okay, got it.
I think so, but I don't know if that just happened organically. If it happened, it was by accident. It wasn't anything I did.
Okay, great.
And Cheryl would like to know, how is Y-Stamp different from a Gmail signature? How would you explain that?
You can do a lot more with graphics. Gmail is very, you can't do as much with graphics. You can't do as much manipulation. And I think, I find the interface is just a lot easier to use. They really stay ahead of the curve on making sure they stay in business and not get pushed out by Gmail signatures or anything that becomes, that is part of it. Part of an email package, the email client. So I found that the graphics are better, the way I can manipulate things are better, the interface is nicer. Every now and then I'll have to do a few changes. I just click on my Y-Stamp app or the little tiny icon, I go right in and I can change things up. And I can also do multiple signatures, and that way I can pick different ones for different people.
Okay. And Cheryl would like to know, does Calendly work with showing time?
It does not integrate with showing time. However, what I do is I have on my Google Calendar, I have it linked with my showing time app. So all of my showings that I have scheduled are on there and they show up as busy. So let's say I have a hot property, there's a hot property, and Sally Sue wants to see it. And Sally Sue calls me and says, I got to get into this hot property. I got to get in now. And I've got 4 other showings that are about to happen in the next 3 hours. When Sally Sue goes to schedule, she will not be able to schedule on top of those showings that I scheduled in showing time, because showing time kicked him over to my Google Calendar and has marked me as busy. So I don't think it has the ability. What would be really, really super cool is if they pick a time and they're able to pick the property, and then that goes over to showing time and that schedules it for you. That would be really cool. But I don't think that functionality is there yet. We need to work on them for that.
Exactly.
Did that explain it? Did I explain that?
Yeah.
Okay.
I had a question, just kind of really rudimentary. So believe it or not, I'm just starting to get into the whole G Suite. And, I've had the basics.
Yeah.
Any recommendations? Really, is it just going on to YouTube and getting really comfortable with it? It's just that comfort level, that multiple Gmail addresses and all that jazz.
Yeah, they have, Google has actually done some pretty excellent training videos. I can't remember exactly how you get there, but if you Google training videos, you'll probably find it, or G Suite training videos, and follow through. I will tell you also, they are constantly changing. So I did Gmail Lame to G Suite Fame at Celebration, and I had started the presentation a few months earlier. And then when I got there, like beforehand, of course, you're always doing the last minute, throw it together and make sure everything works. And I'm like, oh my God, they changed some things. I can't find this. So it's always changing. So you really, really want to just stay on top of what's going on and what the changes are. YouTube, I found some great videos on YouTube. The one thing you have to watch, which I find is interesting, but since Google owns YouTube, but if you go out and you Google different functionalities of G Suite, they don't present them to you in the order that they were uploaded. You have to filter them that way. So I've caught myself watching videos that are talking about G Suite from 2014. It's all different. I mean, it's different from even a year ago. So just check the dates when you're on YouTube. Your Google educational system is going to have everything updated. But when you're on YouTube, look at the date it was uploaded.
Yeah. So Jen, let me ask you a question. Do you integrate your G Suite with your CRM?
My CRM connects into my G Suite. So I use Follow Up Boss, and Follow Up Boss pulls from my Gmail. It pulls every bit of email that comes through. Now, I keep a little bit of a separation because I told myself I wasn't going to do this when I set up Jen at jenandjean.com, but I end up giving that email address to family and friends too. And sometimes I don't want their stuff in Follow Up Boss. I don't need my sister and all the drama going on there coming into Follow Up Boss and messing up my inbox there. So I am very cautious about, you can sync your contacts from Google with your contacts with your CRM. A lot of CRMs let you do that. I'm like, I do not do that. The last thing I want is all my family drama coming into my CRM. Not that we have that much drama, but you know, there is some. So I am very specific about only inputting my users into Follow Up Boss. So what happens is, if Billy Bob is my client and I have entered Billy Bob into Follow Up Boss, when Billy Bob sends an email to Jen at jenandjean.com, Follow Up Boss pulls that in. So I can go out and look at my inbox and Follow Up Boss and only see stuff that my clients have said.
Okay.
And that's just a personal preference, again, because I broke my own rule when I set up my email account and I gave my email address to family, friends, and marketers.
But do you
Go ahead.
integrate your calendar with that G Suite or no?
You can integrate your calendar, yes. And my Follow Up Boss calendar actually will update my G Suite or my Google Calendar. And so my assistant goes into Follow Up Boss, like let's say we have photos scheduled. So she goes into Follow Up Boss, she gets that photo scheduling scheduled in there, and it automatically syncs with my Google Calendar.
Awesome. So we are at 12:28, Nora. We're doing really awesome. So
Doing great.
But Jen, thank you for
You
bringing
are welcome.
talent and your tips here to the New England region. We are super excited to have you here, and maybe someday when we get back to IRL, we would love to have you here in person. What do you think about that, Nora?
I think that would be a great idea.
I would love it. I love your area of the country.
Oh my goodness, so excited to have you. So Nora and I would like to remind everybody, you know, Lisa Parento, our income, has put out a request for volunteers. So Nora and I have had a great time this year as co-chairs of the Education Committee. And it was a learn as we go, and I think we're doing okay. Nora, what do you think?
I think we're doing, it's been a lot of fun.
Yeah, I mean, it hasn't been burdensome or any.
No, not at all.
No, and I've gotten to know you so much better, and Cheryl, and make some new friends, right?
Absolutely.
Absolutely. So when we volunteer, we open doors. So this year, CRS is doing something different. Maybe you don't want to volunteer to be a chairperson or a co-chairperson, but maybe you'd like to meet some realtors, get involved, make some connections, and be on a committee. So as we've had to do and pivot, you know, in Corona world here, everything, we've done it online. We meet online in Zoom, so there's no heavy traveling. And so the newsletter went out this past Monday. The link is in there. Cheryl is going to post it again in the Facebook group. Please do click on it. We all only grow when we all choose to share. So we really all hope that you choose to volunteer and share with us in the coming year. And with that being said, it's 12:30, so we want to get everybody back to work. Next week, we're really excited because we are going to have Sarah Gustafson from Holden, Massachusetts. Sarah's built a fantastic business doing B2B, business to business, and she is basically the queen of BNI. And BNI is the Business Networks International. If you'd like to know how you can join one, be a part of one, have it fit your life and fit your schedule, Sarah's going to teach you all about that. And then you're going to like this one, Jen. Guess who I have the week after that?
Ooh.
The week after that, I have Laurel Starks from the Divorce
Great.
National company here, and she's going to teach our brokers how to build a divorce niche business. So whether you just want to add a piece or you want to deep dive in on that, Jen can attest to it because she spent a week with Laurel, but she is the divorce expert in the realtor world.
Sounds
So,
good, Kelly. Good job, Nora. And thank you so much, Jen. Appreciate
Thank
you.
you.
And love that production board behind you.
Awesome.
That's
Thank
another one.
We'll do that. I get a little camera. And
I'll sign up for that for sure. All right. Thank you. You all. We'll
Thanks,
see you.
everyone.
thank
Take care.
you.
Bye, Jen. Thank you.
Thanks.
bye.
Bye.